Good day, one and all. Happy Friday. Well, it's Friday right now. Welcome to another episode of Win TV. We are wishing a very happy Mother's Day to all of the moms this weekend. I'm Jamila Bay, the Washington Informer's digital content manager. I'm so happy to be with you. We hope you've had a chance to pick up the Informer this week. The copy of the Washington Informer can be read digitally online at www.washingtoninformer.com. If you are one of our guests joining us on Facebook, please go ahead and hit share so that your followers can see the broadcast. If you're watching on Twitter, be sure to follow us and we will certainly give you a follow right back. Be sure to take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Washington Informer TV. So what has been heard in the newsroom? Kudos to Corinne Jean-Pierre, who is going to become the first Black, the first woman, and the first LGBTQ person who will take on the role of White House press secretary. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito's draft opinion on Roe v. Wade was leaked earlier this week. The 30-year mortgage rate is the highest it has been in 13 years. We heard from mayoral candidate Robert White. He's proposing boarding schools for at-risk students in the district. And Councilman Kenyon McDuffie suspended his campaign for Washington, D.C. Attorney General. Y'all remember Council Member Jack Evans? Well, it's been confirmed that the investigation into his dealings with a digital sign company has resulted in no criminal charges against Evans. It is graduation season. We'd love to see your graduate. So send us a picture of him, her, they, and tell us the school they're graduating from, what they're planning to do next with their young, bright lives. And we will definitely give them a shout out on our next broadcast. So you can send your information to news@washingtoninformer.com. Please put WIN TV for graduation 2022 in the subject line. Tomorrow at Nationals Park, the March of Dimes annual walk takes place. Greg Baldwin, who's a longtime friend of the Washington Informer, is hosting his Healing Hearts dinners to honor mothers who have lost children to gun violence on Prince Hall on U Street Northwest. Our own Anthony Tillman will be hosting his second Washington Informer News IG Live broadcast. That's later today with Drew on the keys after this show at 1 p.m. Eastern. And you can tune in to listen to me, Jamila Bay, on WPFW 89.3 FM every Thursday at 2 p.m., 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. That's me. I'd love to have you as a listener as well. Our guests joining us today are Tamara Brummer. She is the Senior Advisor and Director of National Outreach and Engagement at Demand Justice. Dr. Faith Gibson Hubbard. She's a mom who's in politics, and she's also a candidate for Ward 5 Council right here in D.C. Carol Alsbrooks. Yes. Oh, we've had a change to our schedule. Forgive me. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we have back with us this week Rylinda Rhodes. She is a mother in mental health as a certified peer specialist. Stacey Palmer, a mother in business, will tell us about how she runs a successful business and has a successful motherhood with her 11 children. 11, y'all. That's some work. Before we welcome our first guest, let's watch our digital news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is WIN TV News, bringing you the news that matters. D.C. leaders on Tuesday blasted the Supreme Court for a draft opinion that would overturn the 1973 precedent case of Roe v. Wade, the decision that legalized abortion. The overturning of Roe would leave abortion legality in the hands of the states. The district not being a state and its laws must be approved by Congress will leave many women in the district in a precarious situation. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said that a Roe overturn would be an example of blocking access to health care. And she said, quote, "I also want to state this clearly, that Washington, D.C. is a pro-choice city, and women will have access to care in D.C." Prominent DC comedian Dave Chappelle was attacked at the Hollywood Bowl, which left the stand-up world on high alert. The viral video of the Monday incident showed suspect Isaiah Lee of Los Angeles rushing the stage and tackling Chappelle. Authorities confirmed that Lee, 23, was armed with a replica handgun that contained a knife blade, but Chappelle had escaped injury. Chappelle has since made light of the incident, saying, quote, "I've been doing this for 35 years, and I just stomped a man backstage. I've always wanted to do that." DC circulator drivers are now officially on strike, seeking better wages and benefits from the operating company that manages them. The drivers started picketing on Tuesday, with the picketing manned by the American Transit Union Local 689 members. Union leaders accused the RATP Dev, the company that manages the circulator for the DC Department of Transportation, of unfair labor practices. These include negotiating in bad faith, threatening to substitute union workers with subcontractors, eliminating workers' federal rights, and underpayment. Union leaders have said that they will stay off work until an agreement is reached. The United States on Wednesday surpassed a grim milestone with 1 million COVID-19 deaths. The number, which is equivalent to the population of San Jose, California, the 10th largest city in the U.S., was reached at a stunning speed, just 27 months after the country's first confirmed case of the virus. The U.S. death toll is among the world's highest by a significant margin. And as the toll continues to mount, Dr. Christopher Murray, who heads the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington School of Medicine, has said this, that the fact that so many have died is still appalling, and that this is far from over.
Well, thank you so much for that, Curtis. Now, I want to bring on our first guest, Tamara Brummer. Welcome to Win TV.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
What a delight to be with you today. First of all, happy Mother's Day. This is our Mother's Day show, and you're a godmother. First,
I am.
I want to know, how are you going to celebrate with your mom this weekend?
Oh, that's a great question. My mother is actually based where I'm from in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I won't be able to see her this weekend, but I'm going to send her some goodies and trinkets and all that good stuff. And then go out to see her for her 80th birthday next month.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Mama. Hey, that is a wonderful thing. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So thank you for being with us. We want to hop in and hear a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself and your organization, Demand Justice. What is the work that you do?
Absolutely. So Demand Justice was founded in 2018 in response to the kind of lack of urgency on the left and in the Democratic Party to the control of the Supreme Court and the federal courts by the GOP and the Republicans and the right and the corporate elite. We felt, and we still believe, that the courts are this like the last linchpin into really securing and protecting our democracy. But for so long, Democrats have treated it as an afterthought, while Republicans have very clearly stated that the capturing the courts is their number one priority. You know, Mitch McConnell has already told us that, like, if President Biden were to be reelected, but we don't have the House and the Senate, that he will not put any more of his nominees on the bench. So, like, we are really fighting to make sure that the Supreme Court and the lower courts are more equitable, are more like representative of the American people. So we believe in certain things like expanding the Supreme Court to 4 seats. We believe in term limits for justices.
Forgive me, expand the Supreme Court to how many seats?
4 seats.
Okay.
Yes.
Expand it by 4, so that would
By
give us
4.
That would give us 13 justices.
Correct.
Okay. I'm not great at math, but I wanted you
Me
to
neither. It's okay. But, you know, because we really need a balance. You know, our argument is, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, is that Republicans have already stolen seats from the American people. They denied President Obama his appointment in the last few months of his presidency. Then they captured 2 seats during Donald Trump. And then in the final weeks of the election of 2020, they rammed through Amy Coney Barrett, kind of breaking their own precedent. So this is an immediate response to what we need to see for our Supreme Court to be more representative of the needs and the demands of the American people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there are some people who have argued that the predicament we're in today is in part because the deceased Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg let President Obama know that she was going to live forever and did not need to step down and did not need to have the opportunity to allow a then Democratic president, now Democratic president, to make an appointment to well, at least the nomination rather, to the Supreme Court, that of course we saw what a nomination process looks like under these obstructionists. I would love to know what if any, thoughts around, I hate to use the word culpability, but that's the one coming to my mind, of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg idea. Is this what we got for allowing such a brilliant justice to stay that long?
I think that's a question that we get a lot, and I think that because Justice Ginsburg was kind of this monumental figure, I think the real culprit though is the Republican Party and the GOP. Like they have had a steady march to controlling the federal judiciary. They have put in more, they have won less of the popular vote, but been able to put in more Supreme Court justices. That has nothing to do with Justice Ginsburg. This has everything to do with the strategy set in place decades ago. It also has a lot to do with organizations like the Federalist Society, which works behind the scenes, and very vocally though, and really indoctrinating and recruiting justices and lawyers across the spectrum to then implement these ridiculous decisions like the one that was leaked this past week. So I think it's very easy to say, well, if she would have retired, then we would have had one more seat. That's one more seat though in a 6-3 conservative court, right? Like it doesn't matter if we can't do tit for tat. It's really about how do we change the full balance, the full kind of configuration of the courts and how we think about our federal courts.
Recognizing that we are at this point, even as soon to be Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, will take to the bench after the resignation of Justice Breyer. The division of the court remains the same. The makeup remains the same. The issues that are before us: Roe, Brown versus Board, Loving, Oberfeld. I won't go into all the cases, but we know there are a great number of them that affect people's day-to-day lives, their families, and the way they move around this country. Are we without any recourse as citizens right now? These midterms are giving us pause about what our legislature might be able to do to be that check, to be that balance.
No, you're absolutely right. So much is at stake. And we talk a lot about, Loving, Brown versus Board, but like right now, we are still waiting for the court to give us their final decision on on Roe v. Wade and abortion access. We're waiting for them to give us decision on our ability to protect our communities from gun violence, right? We're waiting for them to tell us about the authority of the federal government to really protect the environment. Next term, they're going to be hearing cases on affirmative action, on Native American sovereignty. So even in the future, like we talk a lot about the past, but the future looks very dark in this current configuration of the court. So the real recourse that we believe is it feels simple. Like so many things that we've heard in this past few years has been about, we want to pass comprehensive changes. We have the House, the Senate, and the White House. We need to get rid of the filibuster. And then we also want to expand the court. And here's why. Because we've seen how systematically the federal courts have dismantled the policies that we think are most important for our communities. Look at COVID. Whatever people's views are on COVID, we have decided, like the scientists have told us, you should wear a mask. But a judge that was put in place by Donald Trump, who had one of the lowest ratings from her colleagues, has decided that that's no longer the rule of law. So we work really hard. We vote every year and we try to pass really good legislation, but the recourse is that we need to remove the barriers that prevent the longevity of these really important legislations and policies.
There's a lot we have to consider, and there's a lot we have to do. You at Demand Justice are certainly taking on helping people to better understand, these issues and how they affect us. And just the last couple moments we have, I want to give you the floor. A lot of Americans right now are scared. A lot of Black Americans right now are just feeling that our lives, our citizenship, our place in this country is imperiled. And there's some precedent that it just might be. Is there anything we need to be thinking about or doing that will help us get to the next day?
Oh, yes, I too feel that way. I think about the Supreme Court as this body that is so far away but has so much impact on our everyday lives. All the things you laid out, the Supreme Court at one point or another decided in our humanity and legality in this country. We have a real opportunity to change the configuration of the least democratic body in our federal government. But oftentimes people will tell us that the Supreme Court is not a political body, that there's nothing that we can do. That's not true. The forefathers, in some hindsight, decided that we, the people, get to decide how many people are on the Supreme Court. So we don't need a constitutional amendment to add seats. It would not be the first time we've added seats to the Supreme Court. In fact, during the Civil War, President Lincoln added seats to the Supreme Court because he could not have Southern sympathizers deciding on the legislation he needed to pass to hold our union together. So we are at a moment where we can really take the future of our democracy in our hands. Everything we've talked about, from voting rights, the Supreme Court stripped the last teeth of the Voting Rights Act. We're talking about working and living wages for folks. This Supreme Court has made it harder and harder for working people to stand up for themselves at the workplace. They've made it harder and harder for us to protect ourselves through a global pandemic. We can change that, and we can fight to change that. And at Demand Justice, we would love for you to join us in the fight to push our members of Congress to take a bold step in making our country more democratic by having a federal Supreme Court that represents the needs and the desires of the American people.
Indeed, indeed. So the website is demandjustice.org, and you can follow this wonderful American citizen rights group that is fighting for all of us on Twitter, on Facebook. Definitely make sure to give them a follow. And I need to check out your YouTube channel
Come on
as
through.
well. Indeed.
Sign up and join us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brummer. It has been a delight to chat today. Thank you for joining us. All right. So indeed, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. It's important right now. The work that Demand Justice does supports all Americans, and especially those of us who have been disenfranchised systemically in past, present. Let's not make that happen in future. Now, my next guest coming on is one that we definitely want to have a chat with. Dr. Faith Gibson Hubbard is running for office. So welcome to the program. Welcome to WIN TV.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So Mother's Day weekend, we're leading off with questions about motherhood. So yes. The first one for you is, tell us about balancing motherhood with campaigning. What is that like?
It's definitely not an easy thing to do, but I feel so fortunate to live in a city where we have lots of beautiful examples of women being able to do it, starting with our mayor, Muriel Bowser, and being able to balance motherhood and also leading our city through a global pandemic in ways that many other cities were not able to. And during that time, I worked within the mayor's administration. And so I had to learn how to balance the work that I was doing as the director of the mayor's Office of Community Affairs and as the executive director of Thrive by 5 DC, and also my children learning at home. And my husband has quite a demanding job as well. So those are skills that I have learned and brought with me into this time now running for the Ward 5 council seat, where I have to come to this space fully as who I am. And I am Colton, Maceo, and Emerson Drew Hubbard's mother. And so I can't hide that in this process, and I don't want to. I have the example of my own mom and grandmother who, literally had me on their backs to be able to live life. My mother, who had me when she was a first-generation college student and finished college right with me in tow. So I have beautiful examples of it, not only in my professional life, but also personally. And so my kids are a part of the process. They come with me door knocking. I come home late, and, my husband is the one making all kind of random meals for them to eat and doing their homework. But when I walk in the door, they're like, "Mommy, how was campaigning? How are you?" And it helps my children be able to see me as a human too, and not just their mom.
Excellent. Yes. See, mama is more than just your mama. She is a full,
Exactly.
wonderful human who had a whole life before you got here, little people.
Okay,
I
exactly.
that was directed at my own child. Anyhow, what makes you want to run for Ward 5 Council? What are the issues? And why this moment have you been compelled to throw your hat in the ring?
When a woman runs, everyone wins, because women lead in community just very differently. And again, I have been inspired by other women around me, starting with my mother, my grandmother, my sister friends, our current mayor, Muriel Bowser, seeing her, many of the colleagues that I have already gotten to know quite well who are on the council. And I see how they are able to think about issues that we have going on in our community around public safety, around housing, around education, just differently. I decided to run mostly because I want to make sure that there is someone who is representative of our ward that thinks about me and our family. And so often that doesn't happen. Being a good neighbor first and really being rooted and ingrained in our community, and also the professional experience that I've had working, starting out as a middle school teacher, and also working in an independent agency in the city, and then also working in Mayor Bowser's administration makes me the perfect candidate for this role, because I have a beautiful array of experience that none of the other candidates can bring to the table. I understand what it means to not only manage my budget at home, but also a city budget at the height of COVID to make sure that neighbors are able to have access to the resources that they need and deserve. You know, I'm a homeowner. I have kids who are in our public schools. Both of my children go to DC public schools. So for me, I am running because I want there to be good leadership that my children can be proud of. And when I looked out at the landscape at what was being offered, I didn't see that. And what I know is that women, we often do a lot of the work in the background, right? We push everybody else forward. We, make sure that our community is able to thrive. But when a woman is able to be out in front, the ability to thrive and think about our community in real, tangible ways is different. And I know that that is what I'm able to bring to the table. And that is why I know I'm the best to move forward and be able to represent our ward in this way, because no one is more rooted and committed to this work than I am.
Absolutely. Now, briefly, can you talk to us a little bit about the Strong Family, Strong Future DC program? What is that? Who's that for?
So in 2019, I was appointed by Mayor Bowser to be the first executive director of Thrive by 5 DC. And Thrive by 5 is focused on maternal and infant health through early learning and development. And that's important because we want not only young children to get the very best start, but also for their families to get the best start. And so over the course of the years that I was able to lead that work, each September, the mayor hosts the National Maternal and Infant Health Summit. And it is a beautiful event where both neighbors and decision makers and all kinds of people can come together in order to talk about what's necessary in this space around maternal and infant health. And one of the things that continued to come up was we all could use a little extra in order to make sure that we can fully realize the things that would make our lives easier. And as you know, as a mom, raising a child is not easy. There are a lot of things that come along, and even if you have, the all the income you need, the quality housing you need, a little extra always helps. But we also know that for some of our moms and birthing persons and families that don't even have all those things, that extra makes a huge difference. We saw that with the child tax credit, where, when you gave that opportunity to even more people, both very vulnerable families and those in the middle, it made a difference. People know what they need to do with the money for themselves. We don't have to prescribe it. So from that time, with the work the mayor has been focused on around maternal and infant health and Thrive by 5, Strong Families, Strong Futures came out of that in the partnership with Martha's Table. And I was so excited to be able to see that come to life, because it is something that has been discussed for a long time. And to see our mayor herself, who is a mom, be able to lead this for other moms and giving that little bit of extra, that $900 a month, for us not to tell mothers what they need to do, right? But to trust them that they are the experts and they can steer the ship of their life around what they need. And we know that people will use that money for the right things, for paying off debt or for catching up on their rent or for maybe some self-care. There is nothing wrong with that. We want to make sure that families in our city have everything they need in order to make them best equipped. And so I'm thankful to live in a city where that is a priority, where we have someone, again, that's our mayor that is leading and saying, as a mom, I know that this is true. We have other leaders and our council members who are moms who are also saying that is true. And I, as a mom who was so fortunate to be able to lead that work on behalf of the mayor, I'm also saying that it's true. I was excited when I got the child tax credit, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
I was able to do some additional things for my family that we needed.
Mhm. Now, unfortunately, the federal child tax credit did not get extended.
I didn't.
Um, it was a casualty of the horse trading that happens in our legislative branch. The child tax credit, according to the Biden-Harris administration, I'm so used to that, our president coming second, but the Biden-Harris administration managed to lift 40% of Black children out of poverty.
Yes.
The fact that our mayor has taken the similar measure for local DC residents is a testament to the veracity of what the federal program was at the beginning. So is the program over? Can people still apply? What information if someone is listening and says, wait a minute, I need to know more about this?
So it is a pilot for mothers of young children, so just having birth to 1 year old in wards 5, 7, and 8. And there is an income threshold, but it's a pilot. And I think the great thing is that a pilot we know can be scaled into a much wider program that can hopefully touch even more families. And I know that that is likely the plan. So if families are interested in that, they can go to Martha's Table, their website. They are the administrators of the program. So I believe it's marthastable.org. You can visit their website and find information. The application period, I believe, is closed, but still continue to share the information of the need is really important because it's a critical time, not only around what are the resources that families need, but just like, what we have feared this week coming out of the Supreme Court about a draft opinion about what people can and cannot do with their bodies, continuing to let people know not only what we can and cannot do with our bodies is our choice, but also our ability to thrive and to have the resources to thrive is something that government should support and that we should all be a part of. So I think that is a powerful message for Mother's Day, right?
Indeed, it is.
People know what they need to do.
Now, refresh everyone. Can you bring up again under Dr. Faith Gibson Hubbard? Forgive me, Faith Gibson Hubbard. I can't say your name properly. Yes, Faith Forward 5 DC. That is a little bit of a tongue twister, but it is memorable. I like that site.
So just think of like Faith Forward 5 DC. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for being with us. We've got to the end of the time I have with you, but we definitely will be continuing to speak with you as we move forward to selecting our council members. So thanks for being with us. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. All right, folks. So we are moving right along. Our next guest this hour is Stacey Palmer. And I am very excited to talk to Stacey Palmer. She's someone I think I need to be friends with. We have a lot in common. Stacey, welcome to WIN TV. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We can hear you. Yes, let there be sound. Now, of course, you are very informed and very, very familiar with the Washington Informer, having worked here as a social media specialist. You're also the owner of an executive virtual assistant company, and you are the mom of 11 children. Yes. I can't even fathom that. Well, happy Mother's Day to you. Tell us about 11. What's the age range?
I have all the way from 15. From the lowest, my youngest baby should be 15 in June, and my oldest child is 33.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
Help me. I'm not doing it with the one. tell us, enlighten us, please. How do you manage your time for your business with your children and your grandchildren? I'm taking notes.
Okay, well, first of all, yes, I'm the mom of 11 children of 14 grandchildren, and we're also affectionately also known as the Palmer Squad. We use the hashtag PSons, Palmer Squad, or no squad at all, and that simply just means we're a very close knit family. And at the time, it is either I had a great job, it's either work 8 hours a day and commute to, or have your own business, stay home and raise your children. So I chose the second. And so I've been having my own company now for a very long time, and it has evolved over the years. And my children have seen me work in that capacity. And so now I have a number of them that assist with me. They're also entrepreneurs in of themselves. So it just makes the lift easier. They're a great bunch of kids, and they're all grown and have their own homes, their own families, and now they take care of me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. So what I heard was give them little people jobs and put them to work. I will make note of that and share that with my own child. But talk about what roles your children play in your business. So what how does this work? What specifically are they doing to help you in the work that you do?
So it's three ways that I'll go from the smallest to the biggest. Sometimes I work with clients and they have children's products or stuff, so I have to bounce. They're like my built-in focus group, so I can use them and we work with that. And then the other way is a lot of times I have clients that have business ventures or products that are for a certain demographic. And so we use our social media numbers because combined we're like 85,000 our numbers on Instagram alone. So if I just take theirs out and say, hey guys, I need to push this out, we do that. And then the third way is I have two. Jordan works very closely with me as well as Brianna in the social media aspect. They do everything from creating graphics to running IG campaigns to giving me ideas. So, wherever they need to step in, they definitely step in and help.
Excellent. What advice do you have for busy moms who want to start a business, but don't they don't want to, take on too much? How do you help? How do you help such a person decide?
For me, it's easy. It's just jump. It's just do it. Because if you think hard, you're never going to do it. So I started my business a very long time ago, but the business that I envisioned in my head before Jordan was born and he'll be 21, that vision is just coming all the way together now. So what if I would have waited until everybody was gone and I would have never been to this point. So it's just to do it, make a plan, not just jump out there without a plan, but make a plan, map it out, make the right connections, use the resources. I know in DC, there's no reason not to have a business in DC. They are very entrepreneur friendly and they have tons of free business resources. So just decide it is what you're good at, not just to, and don't get in it just for the money. You have to love what you're doing.
Mhm. Speaking of love, I know you're surrounded by love, but do you ever get any time to yourself? Ever?
This is so funny, and I'm just being very honest. Whereas most people, I've seen people with 3 kids, 2 kids, 4 kids. I just need a date night. All my life, I've just built it in. I've never had, it just sounds crazy even now. I have too much free time. Like I've always built time for myself. I've never had a time where I said, oh my God, this is too much or nothing. I mean, maybe because I was a young mom and they grew into knowing like this is what we're about to do. And I've just always had, free time and working from home, helps a lot too. But I've always had free time and now I have an overabundance of
Oh,
free
wow. Okay,
time.
well, let's go to your schedule for this weekend. It's Mother's Day. How are you going to be celebrated? I imagine your children will be uplifting their queen mother.
Well, the running joke in the group chat is because I didn't give Easter baskets to the big kids, they're not getting me that. But
They don't
honestly,
need no bunnies. Come on now.
so I'm sure everybody, because they always ask me what I want, and I just say whatever you want to give me. But this year I'll be celebrating myself. I have tickets to go see Stephanie Mills and the Whispers. Yes, and Freddie Jackson tomorrow night at Showplace Arena. So I'm gonna treat myself to dinner and just me time. And then I'll come home Sunday, and then whatever, and then I'll visit all of my children that are mothers, and I have things for them too. So I'll take them presents.
Oh, that is wonderful. Stacey, it has been such a delight to chat with you. Thank you for joining us. And once again, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day to you, and thank you for having me.
All right. So, yeah, I didn't even know Stephanie Mills was coming. Okay, that's on me. That's on me. I love her. I love her. I'm gonna be singing home all weekend now and being happy that I love that song, but sad that, yeah, I needed to get Stephanie Mills tickets. We're gonna move on because I will ruminate on this all day. Anyhow, folks, so our next guest is Rylinda Rhodes, who is someone who we have seen before. Miss Rylinda, welcome back to Win TV. It is a delight to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure, and I'm very pleased to be here to talk to you about mental health and the awareness for this month.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Miss Rylinda, you are someone who has my favorite thing, and we're going to talk about this. You're going to be selling your soaps and potions and such at the new Ward 8 Central Farmers Market, and that opens tomorrow.
Yes, it does. I'm so excited.
Okay, for those of us who might not be able to make it to the farmers market tomorrow because we're going to go and find Stephanie Mills tickets somehow or whatever else we have going on. Let us know how we can find your products.
Absolutely. You can definitely find my products online at www.mainroads.com. You can also find me on IG at mainroads NHC, where you can pre-order your products, and then you can pick them up from the farmers market on Saturday. So it's at 1250 Half Street from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. starting May 7th into December. I'm extremely excited about that opportunity. I am a small business owner, so this is a very, very exciting time, especially because I make my products telling my story about my mental health journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much.
Second of all, happy Small Business Week. Yes. Third of all, happy Small Business Month. And then we go now that I've got all that out the way, let's talk about our conversation today around mental health. You're here to talk about this. Now, is it a thing or is it just the myth? Do Black people still have trouble seeking mental health counseling? Is this something that we have figured out can help us, or are we still prey to the idea we don't need it?
Well, in my personal opinion, especially working as a outreach specialist and working on the community response team or mobile crisis team, I do feel like it is still taboo in our community. However, I do feel that we've done leaps and bounds, but we still have a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of shame around speaking about your personal feelings and your emotions. There's still the cliche that people are crazy, or the uncle that lives in the back bedroom that no one wants to speak about. But it's extremely empowering and necessary in our community to talk about these things. I really believe that hurt people hurt people. I am the evidence that was true. I was a 12-year-old that experienced sexual trauma by my employer. I was an entrepreneur at the time, and it went untreated for many, many years. And typically, it came out in different aspects of my life that I was unaware of until someone came to me and was like, hey, have you ever thought about or spoke to someone about your mental health? And that's how my journey began. I struggled for many, many years just thinking, you have to be a strong Black woman. That's just life. You just deal with it. You just get over it, you adapt. But that is not true. You don't just adapt. you do have the right to take care of yourself. You do have the right to pay attention, and not just to your physical health, but also your mental health, how you feel, your emotions, how you regulate those emotions with yourself and people that's around you. It is our responsibility to do so.
Is coming to this knowledge yourself the way you decided to become a peer counselor?
I decided to become a peer counselor because I wanted people to know that we move from surviving to thriving. I wanted them to tangibly see a person that was going in and out of hospitals, uh, run-ins with the criminal justice system. Just my life was very unmanageable because I did not know how to manage my emotions, and I was undiagnosed. Once I got that help, once I started speaking to someone and I got that support, my life started to change. I had all of the makings to be the amazing woman that I am, but I also had trauma, and I did not know how to live with that trauma until I was able to get support and help to understand who I was. And I wanted to be the example. I wanted to go out there on the street showing people that, yes, we do recover. Yes, we do live normal lives based on what it is that you want to do. So I wanted to be the evidence. I wanted to partner with clinicians to go on the street and let people know that they can get these services. And I wanted them to see I was there. I was homeless. I went to prison. I was in and out of hospitals. But with the right support and the resources, look what can happen. I am a mom of 3, managing my life, good credit, small business owner, and out here showing my community that we can do this, that your life matters, your life matters, your life matters.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, when when we think about folks who have entered the criminal justice system, have left the criminal justice system, can you offer some advice about how to, rebuild, restart, and even, maintain family relationships during those events? That especially the little people in a person's life can really be affected.
That is a very good question and scenario to speak about, being a mom and returning to society. And I had, when I left, my children were small. They were between the ages of 8 and 13. And when I returned home, they were teenagers. And so, of course, there was a transition. And transitioning and rebuilding relationships that I had before. But I'll tell you what I did. I made a commitment to myself. I decided that I was going to be the best version of myself. And it didn't matter what I had to do, but I could change those old messages. See, hurt people, when I was hurt, I had messages that I told myself I would not trust people. I would not depend on people because people had disappointed me. People had traumatized me. But I changed that message. I changed that message to I can be a better person. I can heal. I can ask and trust people and expect them to give me the support that I need. And so that's what it was, that I did. That's how I live my life today. That's what I show to the community every day when I wake up and go out.
Hmm. Well, on the I love to hear that story. It's giving hope, and to see the impact and the effect right in front of us. It's a wonderful thing indeed. So you've experienced this. Folks who have experienced it might not be as good as you are at asking for help. I wonder if you've got advice to help folks figure out how they might.
I apologize about that. I'm sorry.
You are a business owner with a family. It happens.
Yeah, it was my grandbaby.
How did I know? How did I know? So I was asking about your power around being able to say, here's an area where I need support, I need help. and then go out and ask for it. Some other folks, I would love your advice if you would share for the people who might even be able to identify, here's where I need help, here's what that help should look like, but the ability to humble themselves and make themselves vulnerable and reach out and say, sister, I need you, brother, I need you.
Mm-hmm.
How to make that happen?
That's a very good question. So that's twofold. So I'm going to say this first. It's imperative that the places that they go to get the services that they need, I believe that we need to implement trauma-informed care training to all DC government employees. We are dealing with individuals that have been traumatized, and it's important for us to help them and not harm them. We need to meet them where they are at the time. And that's where sensitivity comes in. So the first part is understanding that the population that you're dealing with has trauma, and being able to be sensitive, being able to empower them, being able to meet them with strength-based techniques. That's the first part. So when they do make the commitment and they go get the resources, they should not be re-traumatized by the person that they engaged with when they first walk in the door. A lot of these people are struggling, and they come in, they're homeless, they're hungry, they're couch surfing, they're dealing with domestic situations, and they come to the Department of Human Services or to DMV or any of these places, and they're met with disdain. We need to be more compassionate. So that's the first part. Really implementing some trauma-informed care training to our employees, so people know how to engage them. So when they do make the choice to get up and get help, they don't be re-traumatized. The second part is making a decision and realizing that this is not working. For myself, I just had to say, Rylinda, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm going to be very honest. I am a lover and a believer of my God, who I call Jesus. And one of the verses that I really lean on is, trust in the Lord with all my heart and do not lean on my own understanding. And what that interpreted to me was, Rylinda, your thinking is stinking, because I'm thinking, every thought, rumination is about the hurt, the pain. So I make my choices based off hurt, pain, not trusting you, being defensive. So when I change my stinking thinking and learn that I can't just trust what I know, that I can ask a professional, I can go out and ask someone else. And that's important. When you get to the point where you've tried everything and it's not still working, that's when the ability comes in and say, you know what, hey, I can't do this.
We love your determination to succeed. We wish you and will continue to wish you all the best, Miss Rylinda. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, before I let you go, got any Mother's Day plans?
I do have Mother's Day plans, and I'm a practical mother. I'm a business owner, so my children are going to support me in my opening day at the Half Street Market. They're going to support me by going out and helping me set up my table, so I'll be prepared to be the best professional that I am. I requested tangible things for my children that I could use to help me to progress myself and my business. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, as well as helping my grandson prepare a breakfast. Oh my God, I hope my daughter's not watching. Please, helping my grandson prepare breakfast for his mom. So that's what the gift I'm going to give to my daughter.
Oh yes, keep the recipes in the family. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Rylinda Rhodes, she will be at the
Half Street Market. It's 1250 Half Street for all the DC natives, the old tracks, that neighborhood, that area. If you come in from M Street, I will be on the right-hand side. If you come in from the N Street location, I will be on the left-hand side. There will be all the beautiful soaps and awesome smelling soaps that look like this. Come out and support Main Roads. And not only that, you're going to be supporting the community by making them aware of mental health.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My pleasure.
For being with us today, and happy Mother's Day. Yes. Well, we want to thank each and every one of you viewers for being with us here at Win TV. Unfortunately, we are not going to have Bridge TV after this program this week, but trust me, we will be bringing you Bridge TV again. Again, we wish to extend a very happy Mother's Day to all of the moms watching. We hope you enjoy your weekend tremendously. Now, don't forget, tell us about your graduates and be sure to come back next week when our publisher and When TV host Denise Rolark Barnes will be back with us. I'm Jamila Bay. It has been a pleasure. Take care.